Lena Morris never believed in luck. She was a woman who woke up every morning to a life that felt like a cage and unhealthy. Marriage, endless arguments, and a husband who controlled every penny and every decision. She had always dreamed of escaping, but dreams were luxuries she could not afford. Everything changed on a calm evening in June when she stopped by a small convenience store after work. She had only stepped inside to buy milk, but the bright colors of a lottery stand caught her attention. It felt silly, but something inside her whispered, "Just try once." For the first time in years, she listened to her own voice instead of fear. The next morning she woke up to a ringing phone and a trembling voice from the lottery office telling her she had won $1 million. Lena froze. Her whole world spun. She had never held more than a few $100s at a time, and now suddenly she was a millionaire. But luck didn't make her life easier, it made it far more dangerous. When her husband Rick found out about the money, he changed overnight. He wasn't excited or supportive. He became possessive, aggressive, and almost obsessed. He demanded full control of the winnings and even threatened to take what's his if Lena refused. For the first time, Lena saw a way out: freedom, a new life, independence. But Rick saw something else: ownership. The house became a battlefield. Every conversation became a fight, every glance a warning. Lena began to fear for her safety. The money, which had seemed like a blessing, was turning into a ticking bomb. And deep inside, she knew something terrible was coming. That terrible moment arrived faster than she expected. The night that changed everything started quietly. Rain tapped against the windows, and the house seemed unusually cold. Lena sat alone at the dining table, her thoughts restless. She had packed a small bag and kept it hidden in a closet. She was planning to leave before Rick woke up the next morning. But Rick came home earlier than expected. He staggered in, reeking of alcohol, anger burning in his eyes. "You think you're running away with my money?" he shouted the moment he saw her. Lena felt her heartbeat jump into her throat. He grabbed her wrist and pulled her close. His voice dropped to a threatening whisper. "If you leave, you'll regret it." It was the final push Lena needed. A fight broke out, violent, chaotic, desperate. In the struggle, Rick slipped, hit his head on the edge of a table, and collapsed. The house fell silent. Lena stood frozen, staring at the motionless body. She didn't plan it. She didn't want it. But the man who had tortured her for years now lay still at her feet. Panic swallowed her. She called no one. She tried to think. She tried to breathe. Her mind raced. Was this self-defense? Would anyone believe her? She knew how charming Rick appeared in public. People would never imagine what he was behind closed doors. Fear won. Instead of calling the authorities, she tried to hide what happened, a mistake that would cost her everything. Lena buried the truth that night. But truth has a way of resurfacing. Within days, investigators became suspicious. Neighbors reported hearing arguments. Financial records showed the sudden appearance of money. And Lena's own nervous behavior raised even more questions. She thought she could hide the lie, but the lie was already hunting her. The police arrived with a warrant. Lena was taken in for questioning, trembling, exhausted, and unable to maintain the story she had rehearsed. Her voice cracked, her eyes were red, and the weight of guilt pressed down on her like chains. Investigators pieced everything together: the sudden wealth, the marital conflict, the missing husband, and Lena's desperate attempts to cover the truth. There was no evidence of self-defense because she had destroyed it in panic. In court, her fate was sealed. The prosecution painted her as a woman who killed for money. Her lawyers tried to argue domestic abuse, but there were no medical records, no police reports, nothing to prove years of suffering. Her silence during those years now worked against her. The judge's final words echoed in her mind: life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. As Lena was led away, the world outside continued as if nothing had happened. The $1 million that was supposed to save her had instead destroyed her life. She realized too late that luck means nothing when fear guides your decisions. Behind the cold metal bars of her prison cell, Lena spent her days replaying the same thoughts. If only I had called for help. If only someone had believed me. If only luck hadn't arrived at the worst possible time. She had won $1 million, but lost everything else: her freedom, her future, and the chance at a new life. The world saw her as a murderer, but deep inside, she knew she was a trapped woman who made the wrong choices in a moment of terror. Now her story lives only as a warning. Sometimes luck isn't a blessing, it's the beginning of a downfall.